Hello, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the live class. Today is Wednesday, February 6, 2019, and it is like the coldest day of the winter season here in California, I think. Today is like 50 degrees, and I was already sitting outside getting ready for this class, but then it was cold and dark, so I decided let's just for this time, since I've never done any class at home inside the house. So Joey said, just do it inside, for a change. So here I am sitting in my dining room. So if you have any questions, please list it on the comment section. How are you, ladies? Thank you for tuning in. Hi, Laura. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Sita. Very nice to see you guys here. Thank you for being here. So I'm going to just ask any question and I'll answer it. By the way, as usual, when Katarina went away and she came back, you know what's going to happen, right? It's a given with Katarina. And it's so uncanny. It's so weird. Like, yes, we have had 5 engagements this year, and the last one just in today. So congratulations to Diane, who just got engaged, I think probably yesterday, because the report was today, and Victoria as well. So 4 engagements in January, 1 engagement this month already. So the tradition of 1 engagement a week is still going strong, and that is, like, as I said, unheard of anywhere in the world. So I'm so happy that this is like this year my 2nd time going online. The last time was in Coronado. Oh my God, sometimes I have problems pronouncing things. But it was a very quick kind of saying hello, right? And so now we can have maybe more time answering your questions in depth. So wherever you are in your journey in life, if it's concerning your relationship or your life, you can ask me whatever questions you have in your head. And before we start, I would like to announce as well that this year we're going to have 3 retreats. So please, if you've been thinking about my retreat, this year you can choose one place to go to. And the lowest cost, of course, at my home in San Diego County. That will take place on June 27 out the 30th. So you're going to fly in on the 27th of June, and you're gonna fly out on 1st of July. So the last day will be June 30th, in which we're going to dissect the subject of depression just for that one day. So if you currently going through something very hard in your life, or you're depressed, or you're on medications, this is an excellent place, an excellent time for you just to learn from me why you are depressed and how to overcome your depression. So you can come just for that one day, or you can come the entire 3.5 day retreat, or you can also come, if you cannot come the entire 3 days, 2 days fine too. So there are 3 options: 3 days, 2 days, or just 1 day, the 1 day workshop on overcoming depression. And the one in Ireland, by the way, we're going to have a retreat in a Grand Castle. It's called Castle Leslie. It's in Ireland. And you can check on the original post. I put the link to all my retreats. So it will be September 9 throughout the 12th. So you're also coming, we start on the 9th, finish on the 12th. And if you want to extend, of course you can in Ireland, but if you fly back home, it will be on the 13th. And the one in Bali, by the way, that'll be a hit, because so far we already have 4 ladies sign up for Bali retreats. And right now for both Ireland and Bali, it's still $1,000 off, ladies. So if you want, get to lock down the cheapest rate, the cheapest price, this is the time. The one in Bali will be in November, so it's still far ahead. November, I believe, 9 to 12. Okay, so just check on the links, and we're gonna have fun wherever we're going to have the retreat at. One thing for sure is you're gonna have fun while also learning about everything about the nature of the mind. Okay, and it's a very fascinating subject, I promise you. I'm sure you already probably somewhat knows that it is a very fascinating subject if you've been listening to me, the last few years, right? And by the way, let me just sip my champagne. So to the ladies who just got engaged, congratulations, right? And we're gonna also have a full moon party on May 18th. The page hasn't been created yet, or is in the process of being created. Hopefully this week, soon, I will post it. And it's not gonna be very expensive. It's only like $99. You can come and bring your friend, and your friend will get 50% off of $99, and you get to have meals and drinks all day, all night long, and it's a full moon. Have you seen the full moon in my home? It was outrageously beautiful. It is outrageously beautiful every full moon. But I took the pictures of the last month full moon, which I posted also on my page and my wall. Check it out. It's just like sublime, so magnificent. This is what I like about living in this home, because we just get to see this paradise. It's like paradise on earth. Anyway. So enough introduction about what's going on in Karina's life this year. So let's talk about your questions. I put like an instruction earlier, a post of so you could list all your questions, and I will just read one by one here. This is from Julia. I love the outdoors, traditionally male activities, and I'm in a male-dominated job. Being feminine does not come natural. What does being feminine look like? And how to become more comfortable with looking and acting feminine? Julia, being feminine in the workplace looks like, let me just read something from Edith. Edith was recently promoted to become like the head of her division of some kind. And it was like her second promotion in a year. And then she assigned that success in her career to Journey Inward. She's been signing up for Journey Inward, and she's been practicing cultivating her feminine energy. She is also a very a strong, powerful woman in a male-dominated society or male-dominated workplace, because she's a lawyer. So imagine that, being a lawyer and trying to be feminine, it would be like, I'm sure, very challenging, because being a lawyer is a very masculine job, right? So this is what she says. What changed her and her career? How she got promoted twice in less than a year. So this is what she says. Thanks so much, Kat. In a nutshell, I became someone that people confided in, trusted, want to be around, etc. Because I'm much more feminine these days. I've become known for my calm and professional manner. I learned to become softer in my approach when tackling complex negotiations and difficult people. I stopped talking so much and listened to everything before providing my opinion or advice or feedback. I also found myself gentler and much more peaceful. I'm going through a stressful period at work as I'm now managing a high-performing legal team that undertakes very complex legal work. Instead of my stress levels becoming out of control, I started doing another round of Journey Inward this morning. P.S. I work with men. I am replacing a male in my new role. I'm the head of legal and contracts for my division effective January the 1st. And senior legal counsel and commercial manager was my previous promotion a few months ago. CAT's teachings have such wide application. I came to CAT to improve myself generally, and this is the result. At first, I really struggled with this group because the women here really challenged my deep-seated issues. I started with CAT's ebook and then progressed to Journey Inward. I think the group, combined with the ebook and Journey Inward, showed me that my resistance and my defensiveness were holding me back in all aspects of my life. When I came to that realization and started to release my need to control everything, everything started to fall into place. I do Journey Inward whenever I feel like I'm slipping. It keeps me balanced. I'm still a work in progress, and this group shows me that what I need to keep working on. So Edith, congratulations, sweetheart. So what a great success that is, So if you follow me, success doesn't always mean engagement, even though, yeah, of course, I'm happy when you get engaged, when you get married, because that's what you want, right? So obviously, I'm going to flaunt it. If you have it, flaunt it. That's my philosophy in life. So yeah, I'm gonna flaunt it, my engagement tally, because it keeps coming, every week. So why shouldn't I do it? But remember, being successful in life, first and foremost, ladies, it's not about what kind of relationship you're going to have, even though of course that is the big part. But even if you're not in a relationship, even if you are just single and you're happy and feeling more fulfilled in your single life in your job, like Edith is single, that is already a success. So whenever you are happier in your life, you are already my success story. You don't have to show me your ring or engagement. I'm not engaged myself either. Or you don't need to be married to be my success story. Success for me, do you know what success is? When you are happy, when you feel joyful, when you feel a sense of inner peace, you are already much more successful than 95% of world's population. So for me, that is the measurement of success, inner peace. Okay, so even if you're engaged, you're married, you're having babies, but if you're not happy with your life, then what is that for? What's the point, right? So Julia, to answer your questions, how to be feminine, you can take example of what Edith did. Just try to listen more. The hallmark of being in your feminine energy is when you just surrender to the state of beingness. When you are in the state of beingness, you do not try to control so much. I understand in the workspace, you have to make things happen. So you have to, of course, get things done. I understand that. I have to get things done too in my work life. But to get things done can arise or can happen from the state of being surrendered, of being in the moment, of being one with the process, whatever that is. So the doing that stems out of beingness is what the art of being is all about. So I'm already perfecting that, doing stemming from the state of beingness in my life. Even though right now I'm talking to you, I'm doing something, but actually I'm also being, because I carry no resistance in me. I'm just in a state of sweet surrender to the moment. And right now I feel kind of hot, so I'm just gonna take this off. All right. So I was kind of get ready to sit outside, but it's too cold. So now I'm in my living room, my dining room. It's getting hot here. All right, so Julia, it's not so much about what you wear. A lot of women wear like sexy clothes, you know, very high heels, but it doesn't make them feminine. The feminine aspect, the feminine side of you oozes from your energy. Okay, so your feminine energy is that sweet surrenderedness. It is kind of hard when you are always so busy trying to get things done, you know, in your workplace. But something you can practice is just being in tune with your body. So, you know, whatever you feel the sensation in your body, you try to sort of be one with it. Sit with that sensation in your body. Okay, so, and then you listen more, and then you talk less, perhaps. Of course, you need to talk when you need to talk, when you need to communicate. But then also, you know, being in the feminine is always taking a position to understand first before being understood. That is what made Edith so indispensable in her job, because of that capacity to understand first before being understood, to listen, to not getting defensive, to just willing to allow others to express themselves, and you are in the state of being receptive of what being said to you, even though sometimes it makes you uncomfortable, right? And your first reaction is to talk back instead of just observing what the other person is trying to convey. You know, it's not just you. I'm still sometimes in that state too, you know, wanting to talk back because I'm in my mind instead of listening. Sometimes I'm already ready with an answer or a feedback of what the other person is saying. You know, especially in a relationship, if you notice that your guy or your man, your partner, always say, listen, because this is something I noticed as well. Joe and also, you know, my ex, they didn't like when I interrupted because they lost their trains of thoughts. Apparently, it's very, very common with men because they already have it in their mind, and then we say something. Because as a woman, you know, we always talk back like at each other, right? We listen, but we also very interactive. We are very communicative with each other when we are, say, gathering, just all women. We want to talk. And guys, apparently, you know, they listen more before they talk. So whenever we interrupt, you know, because we want to say something, you know, to emphasize what he says or to have an opinion of what he says, don't be surprised when they say, please listen, stop it, don't talk. I cannot, you know, I lose my train of thoughts when you speak, when I'm speaking. Okay, that is something to bring to awareness when you are in either in a work setting or in a relationship at home with your partner. Okay, Julia? All right. So here's another question from Marie. I really love my alone time at the end of a busy work day. I meditate and do yoga and cook dinner and have a bath. My boyfriend of 3.5 years just moved in, and I'm afraid I won't get any of that now. I didn't do those things on the weekend when we would see each other. So although he's heard of my routine, I've never enforced my me time because I did those things during the week. How do I stay grounded and keep my balance now that he lives with me? Marie, being in a relationship is basically you combining two lives, two entities in a way, right? Two human beings. So it will become a synergy. So 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, but 1 + 1 = 3, which is the life of your relationship or as a couple, your own life, and then his life. So there are 3 lives in there. So if you like to meditate, you like to do things as a single person, keep doing what you're doing. I'm sure he will adjust. So, and do not worry about so much anticipating, oh, probably he will be annoyed if I take my me time. Just do it and take it from there. If he's saying, complaining or saying something, then you can explain, or just worry about it, you know, cross the bridge when you come to it. A lot of you always try to anticipate problems and how to overcome it, right? Don't do that. You know, it might not come. The problems might not come. So just take it one day at a time. When you feel like, you know, taking your me time, doing your meditation, whatever, you know, just do it in a room where he's not around. And when he comes and see you and talks to you, you can explain to him that, you know, I usually take 15 minutes or half an hour off every day just to have my meditation time. I'm sure he will have no problem with it. So do not overcomplicate things, all right? And again, it's also, it's valid also the other way around, because a lot of you, when you are in a relationship, you have this expectation that he's going to always do the couple thing. So whenever he wants to go out with his friends, hang out with his boys, you give him a hard time, for example, because now you are like a married man, or you are a man, a taken man in a relationship. You're not supposed to go out by yourself or with the boys without me. So you give him a hard time. Don't do that. Instead of giving your man a hard time because he wants to do his own thing, you find your own thing to do. Okay? Just because you are living together now doesn't mean you have to do everything together. You still have to maintain your sense of individualism or your sense of independence, you know, and it's gonna help you so much in the relationship when you have your own life. So do not get lost in the relationship. That's what a lot of women do. Once they're in the relationship, they're hooked by the hip. You know, they always expect that they're going to always be together. I mean, you know, that's why I travel, because I like my me time. I like being away from my relationship sometimes, because it's stifling after a while. You know, day in, day out, months after months, being with the same person without any break whatsoever, right? So that's what I do. So have your own life, have your own passion. It's very recommended when you do that. Okay. Here, this is from Megan. What do you do when you love both your rotation men? I know, oh my God, that is like a goddess problem there. Congratulations, Megan. So if you love both men, meaning you're not ready to decide which one to commit to, right? And if they haven't asked you, so just enjoy them both, while probably adding more men in your rotation. Maybe you will love 3 or 4 men in your rotation. So don't worry about it. As long as they haven't asked, they haven't said anything, but you love them both, that is a goddess problem, and congratulations for it. But say you love 2 men and one of them asks you to be exclusive, right? That is usually what happens. And then you are torn, you are so conflicted because you cannot let go any one of them. Then in that case, probably depends. Are you ready for a relationship, or are you okay just being casual right now? What happened is usually, you know, the minute you enjoy your rotation, usually what happened was one of them would like to ruin it for you. They want you all for themselves. So depends where you are in your journey. If you're ready to let go of your rotation, you're ready for a deeper kind of relationship, then yeah, you say yes to the one who asks you first. Now the question is, what if both of them ask you, in that case, you know what? If you really equally love them both, and both of them ask you to be, I've never heard such case before, but it can happen with cat ladies, right? So then what you're gonna do is just, you tell them what they always tell you. Sometimes, you know, a lady is also not ready to commit to a guy. So say, I'm not ready right now to commit to anyone. So just, you know, be honest about it. But I hope it's not happening quite like that yet, Megan. All right. If that is what happens, ask them both to give you time, probably like a few weeks, just to think about it and to observe some more. So which one is going to be, you know, the one that represents what you like the most about a guy or about a relationship with a guy. All right. So let's see from some other questions here. From Tina, I haven't dated in several years. Any advice on how to prepare emotionally for this? Tina, just do not think too much. You do not anticipate. So just go out and plunge into life, plunge into it and see how it goes. You know, you take it one day at a time. So I have no tips how to prepare yourself emotionally other than just be jumping in the pond and swim. So when you want to learn how to swim, you just jump in the water and start swimming. It's the same with dating. Do not overthink it. Oh, what do I need to do? What do I need to say? Just go out on a date and see how it goes, okay? So do not lead with the mind. The mind doesn't know. And you only know when you are faced with a situation that you need solving. It's the same also with business. In my business, for example, I often don't know what this going to lead, what this program is going to end up, how this class is going to happen. I just jump into it and deal with it as it comes or as it goes, okay? And luckily, I've never gone astray practicing just being in the flow of the moment. And my business is just growing the same or probably even more than if you follow advice, how to set up goals, what you need to do today. You create a list, checklist of things that you need to do. And then you have goals set up for this week, next week, 5 years goal, 10 years goals. I don't do any of that at all. And my business is still growing because I'm just dealing with whatever is arising moment to moment, whatever is needs being taken care of moment to moment. That's all you need to do. Okay. So, ladies, if you have any more questions, please put it on the comment section. I'll try to read it. Hi, Stacy. Stacy says, hello, Kat. So nice to see you. So nice to see you too, Stacy. How are you doing? How's your relationship? This is from Abby. Hi, Kat. Best advice for when your boyfriend and you have your first real fight? I've apologized for my part and I am leaning back. I'm struggling with leaning back when it was my fault or if there is misunderstanding. You know, you had your fight. So both of you were fighting. Both of you were probably arguing. Yeah, you have apologized. So let it go. And then again, you know, I noticed also something about me and Joey. Whenever before every class, I got a little bit sort of high strung before every class because I needed to prepare, finding a location, you know, putting a table somewhere. And I often need Joey's help. And Joey's always sort of the sort of person who like, what? And I got annoyed by that. And usually what happened, we would have an argument. It happens quite quite a bit just before every class. So today it happened again. I lost it, right? Because I said, I was stressful before every class. I just need your help. Please, just do not make my life harder. So, and then, just before the class, because now we're moving from outside to inside, I said to him, I'm sorry I shouted at you. And he said, no, don't worry, it was my fault. So both of us kind of, take ownership of our fault in a matter, because it's just not your fault or his fault. It's just both of us getting high strung because of we're feeling pressure, and it's common. So you create bigger problems by not when you are trying so hard to sort of like justify your own sort of like shouting at him. So you are playing it in your head, and then you are beating yourself up. What happens is usually you create more problems by not letting go, because now you're wanting him to all of a sudden to act a certain way, so you feel better about feeling guilty. And when he's not doing it, you now feeling doubly guilty, or feel bad, feel worse, because you're beating yourself up. But if you just let go, whatever mistake that you made, will just be washed out of the system, just like that. Just very simple. Stop talking about problems seriously. Problems are mostly created through what? Through thinking, right? And thinking often translates into talking, or talking into thinking. Both are kind of one and the same. Talking comes from thinking. So when you are talking, you put everything, you kind of like magnify things that if you are not talking about it, doesn't even exist. So are you aware of that? So whenever you're talking about problems, you magnify it, you make it more solid in your head or in your consciousness. And because the nature of the minds and the ego, or the mind, ego and mind is kind of the same. The nature of the mind is believing in itself first and foremost. So the mind believes whatever it says to itself, right? That's why, as someone who is behind the talking, someone who is behind the breathing, someone who is behind the thinking, in other words, you are the witness of all these activities, these mental activities, which is talking, thinking, and breathing. You just being aware that the mind saying something, and you as the witness doesn't have to believe in it, doesn't have to identify with whatever it is that your mind is telling you. Do you understand? That's why when you have the urge to discuss what happened with your boyfriend or your husband, as the witness, you just feeling that urge in your body as it arises. I'm feeling the urge just to dissect some more what we were fighting about. I want to apologize. I want to explain my position. And by doing so, you reinforce the very problems, the very issues. But if you just let it slide, if you just let it go, not trying to sort of rehash it in your head or discuss it with him, you will open a new chapter. Okay, and he will also soon forget of what happened. Unless he is the one who brings it up, because maybe he's feeling hurt, then he will bring it up to you. Then you just have to say, I'm sorry, I shouted at you. Okay, I just lost it. You are being human. So forgive yourself. Like I forgive myself for yelling at him earlier. And because I apologized, he said, don't worry, because it was my fault. which I agree. It was his fault because he was annoying. All right. This is from Stacy. My life is great, better than I ever imagined. And my relationship is evolving into a very special love that I've never experienced before. Wow, Stacy, brava. Thank you. And Stacy, come to Bali or Ireland, okay? Or come back to the retreat this year. I would love to see you again. And here, Valerie. Hi, Valerie. How are you? How is your situation with your EUM? Let me read your case. So, this is from Shanika. Hey, Kat, is there such thing as being too detached? There are always to everything. Like, you know, too kind, too nice, too crazy, too detached, to attach. Yeah, probably if you're too detached, meaning you are not connecting, you know, to other people. So just find middle ground somewhere, okay? If you are too attached, meaning you are too bothered by things that people do or don't do, or too bothered if you achieve an outcome or not. But if you're also too detached, you might have a problem, you know, connecting to people as well. So, but I need more example. What do you mean by too detached? Okay, it's difficult to just playing with words without knowing the context why you ask this question. All right, and this is from Jade. Jade asks, when is this time to lean back and be soft, and when is the time to actually have a boundary? Your actions, I don't understand. Your actions of a cross boundary are walking away. So what is your action when your boundary is being crossed? Are you walking away? Maybe that's what you mean. Do you say anything or do you just disappear? Ladies, when you ask me something, make sure the grammar is somewhat correct, because otherwise I won't understand you. Okay? So what is the time to lean back? Lean back is a way of being. It's a way of life. To me, I always lean back. Even in my business, I lean back. My business is very feminine. Even, you know, for example, a very good example of how I do my business the feminine way. I don't have a sales team. I never hustled, not even 1% I ever hustled in my 8 years of career. People just come to me and they will inquire how, you know, what is the best program for me, and I will tell them. And if they don't come back, I don't chase them. You know, I always, deep down, I always knew that they would come back when they need it. So there is no need for me to sort of chase their ass and ask, hey, when are you going to sign up? When are you going to buy this, buy that? I might probably just follow up one time, but when they say, oh, I cannot afford it, I usually let it go. Like some other coaches will say, well, sell your TV or sell your car so you can pay $20,000 for my coaching. You know, I don't do that sort of thing. That is, to me, that is the epitome that you can do business a very feminine way and still succeed. And the result of doing business the feminine energy way is you are stress-free, you are burnout-free, you are struggle-free. I'm never stressed in my job. I'm never burned out. I never struggle in my job, in my life anymore, because I operate on feminine energy. And even the same now, I'm now hiring someone full-time. And she notices as well, right, Leslie, that I barely sort of like, you know, sort of bang on her door. Hey, what are you doing? You know, very rarely I even do that. So maybe it's not such a good good thing, by the way. If you have a strong of employees, obviously you need to manage them, you need to supervise. And I always notice with myself, I'm not a good supervisor, I'm not a good people manager. I don't have patience, or it doesn't, I don't find it enjoyable to supervise people, to manage people. That is why if we become bigger, we hire more employees, Leslie is going to supervise them, not me, because I'm a very lenient boss. Yeah, so I guess it's a weakness to me, but it's okay. I've embraced it. I've been doing this business on my own the last 8 years, and it did just fine. Now it's time for me to expand, to include other people in the endeavors. That's what we're doing. But as much as I can, I will still also enjoy it, even though now obviously there is more obligation because there is now another mouth to feed, right? But for me, I will do whatever is easy. If it becomes difficult for me, whatever it is, I'm probably just gonna put it aside, or I'm gonna change my approach, change my strategy, and just going back to enjoying being in the feminine again. Even when you're running an empire, it can be done. Yeah, I mean, probably the result is not going to be like those guys who are very ambitious running their business. They produce so much content. They go online creating classes every day just to appear. If I have to follow a formula and my heart is not in it, then I'm going to suffer because I'm not going to enjoy it. So that's why I don't follow formula. I just do whatever I feel like doing in the moment. Today I felt like, having this class, so I do it. And it's been almost like a month, or over a month, almost 2 months since the last time I did a proper class. But that is my rhythm. So I don't just do it just because some people, some experts or gurus or business coaches tell you, you have to go online, have a class every single day to attract more customers or to attract more fan base. If I don't enjoy it, I don't do it. As simple as that. Okay, because what's the purpose of being successful? And I remember I said earlier, being successful to me is not about a man, it's not about relationship, it's not about money. Being successful, first and foremost, is about in the quality of your life, the quality of your present moment. If your present moment is majority of the time happy, joyful, and peaceful, you are already at the top probably 5% or even less of the world's population, because you are a very successful person just on the virtue that you are stress-free, you are neurosis-free, you are living in peace moment to moment. Okay, not so many people live in peace. You can be very famous, you can be very rich, and we know how many people who are so famous, so rich, they had to kill themselves, for example, because they are so unhappy. Okay, so do not seek wealth, money, just for the sake of having wealth or money. But first of all, just be comfortable in your own skin, wherever you are in your journey. Maybe you are broke right now, but if you are comfortable in your own skin, you're already very successful. You know what I'm saying? And success will follow when you are just enjoying whatever it is that you are doing in the moment. I don't know, maybe it's not a very popular advice, but that is what I do. And I only advise you the very things that I do myself. Never, follow just some rule or a book that you read that that I read, then, you know, I parrot whatever the book says. So whatever advice that comes out of my mouth has been proven in the laboratory of my own life or my own consciousness. And you are more than welcome to practice it. You know, the result might be different, right? Just so be curious. Be curious. Always take a position of this curious observer, just trying to sort of understand yourself, understand that those impulses, the drives, for example, to be somewhere, to be somebody, for example, right? Then sit with it. Sit with that emotional reaction. Take that curiosity of a 5-year-old into the movement and the fluctuation of your inner reaction. That what is going to make you aware and awake. That is the very definition of being aware. That is the very definition of being a Buddha or being enlightened. Enlightenment is just a state of being perpetually aware and awake. That is what enlightenment is in a nutshell. That is what Buddhahood is in a nutshell. A state of being perpetually aware and awake. It's nothing else. It's not about superpower magic. It's not about this superhuman capacity, for example. Okay, so you embracing yourself moment to moment. And this is also related to the question by some other person about self-love. Okay, so someone says here, Leah, oh, this is from Leah. Can you address self-love? Leah, so self-love is basically just embracing yourself moment to moment, wherever you are in the journey, right? You know, wherever I am in my journey, I'm always proud of it. That is what self-love is. That's why I never have to exaggerate my accomplishments. You know, I never have to lie about anything. Whenever I am in the journey, I'm happy about it. For example, when I first started, you know, I had my first person telling me, you know, that I got engaged. And I felt proud because I helped her, you know. It's normal to feel proud, right? When you have helped someone. But I'm proud with my engagement tally of one person. I don't have to create this sort of image. Oh, I have made like 125 engagements when you only have 5, for example. You know, because I'm proud of me, of my accomplishment, wherever it is, moment to moment. So I don't need to lie or embellish my resume. And mind you, I've been that person too who embellished her resume, right? When I was in my 20s, you know, when I first got into the corporate world, you know, I was applying for many jobs. And of course, in my resume, I always lied about my accomplishments, right? I always embellished it because I didn't have the wisdom that I do now. I wasn't proud of myself at the time, right? I thought, you know, I needed more. I needed to show more so they would be attracted to me and they would hire me. Yes, so I lied. So I admit it. I lied. and what was the result? Yeah, I got hired, but usually it didn't last because it will become obvious later on whether or not you are really cut out for the job. The resume will get you in, but once you are in the job, it will become apparent whether or not you are like one with the job. Whether or not this is something you are born to do, right? So I was applying for a job, for a managerial position, because, you know, I was a narcissistic 20-something-year-old. I couldn't just, you know, just like millennials today, right? They don't want to do the manual jobs. They want to be the CEO, even though they have no experience whatsoever. I was the same person in my 20s. I thought, you know, I couldn't just start from the lowest level. I was ready to be manager. I was so much smarter than most of these people. So I deserve a managerial position, even though I had zero experience. I would just lie about it. So those who embellish their resumes, they lie so much about their accomplishment, they exaggerate their posture, they take Instagram pictures in front of, say, a private jet, whatever. So apparently a lot of people do that. So they can charge a lot of money for the services and products they do. It's because they don't love themselves as much as they say they do. And I only know that because I've been that person. When I was that person, no, I wasn't proud of myself. I wanted to be somebody else. I was not. But right now in my life, whatever it is that I produce, I humbly embrace it and be grateful about it and be very proud that I've come this far. So I am as proud now as I was maybe 5 years ago when my engagement was only like 10. Right now I have 211, and it changes week to week, right? Because once a week, at least once a week. And it is proven. So I am as proud now as I was 5 years or 6 years ago when my engagement was just like a handful. So I didn't try to sort of like speed up the process, making claims that are unfounded. That is not in my nature anymore. But if you're still doing it, there's no judgment from me because I've been that person. You see, when you see yourself in everyone, in my case, I see myself in everyone because I've been that person. I'm aware of that. I'm aware what's going on. So you become well-rounded. That's what being well-rounded really means. You understand what's going on because you've been in that situation before in your life. Okay, so that's what distinguishes judgment and discernment. Judgment is about you, but discernment is about what is. So when I'm bothered, for example, by someone who embellishes themselves to the point that I'm so obsessed about it, for example, then yeah, it is judgment. Because obviously, I have a problem with it. But when I see it, then I compare that to myself 20 years ago. Those people are just like me 20 years ago. They are on a journey themselves. They are still evolving. I am evolving too. So there is discernment in it, even though, you say the same exact thing, right? Oh, you embellish your resume. But one is said with so much anger, and the other is said with the understanding and acceptance that those people are on that stage that they are, that makes them, lie about their accomplishments. So you see the difference? All right. Let's see if there is more question from you ladies. This is from Abby again. How do you get through an argument like a goddess? We don't live together and are 2 hours apart. When you argue, when you shout, for example, just be aware that you are shouting, okay? So, and then you make a conscious decision. Do I want to continue being at each other's throat, or do I want to call it quits? Meaning that, I've said my piece, and he has said his piece. Can we just at the moment agree that whatever, agree to disagree, or agree that we are not in a good place to talk calmly like to adults? Of course, as I said, it's not kosher either to repress your anger, for example. right? Sometimes you just have to let it out the system, because if you repress it, it will go underground and create more problems in the future. So usually I always say, you know, with me in our relationship, our argument doesn't usually last more than 5 minutes, because I either zip it after saying my piece, or if I'm still very annoyed, I will just leave the room and, you know, lock myself into the bedroom and do other things. So I will calm down. And usually what happens, and he will come to the bedroom, you know, minutes later and say, hey, I thought we were hanging out. And if I was still annoyed, yeah, I would snap some more naturally. But usually we make up very, very soon. Okay, so do not create complication by not accepting the argument. So accept it. It happened. Human beings argue. We are not always going to be in the best of mood. Nobody can be in the best of mood 100% of the time. But if you're always in a good mood already 95% of the time, or even 80% of the time, or 90%, just say 90% of the time. So you know, you reserve the right to be annoyed every now and then. You're only human. You have to, and you have to say it, you say it. Okay, so stop beating yourself up. All right. Ladies, if you don't ask more questions, I will just end this class. It's almost an hour, or maybe already an hour. Okay, and please sign up for the events. So I remind you again, May 18 will be the full moon party at Katarina's castle. And then we have 3 retreats this year. June will be in my home. Ireland, Castle Leslie, will be in September. And Bali, the island of gods, will be in, I think, will be in November. And I think we're also going to have Halloween party. Leslie is arranging something for me to host a party in Salem, Massachusetts. I don't know what she's thinking, but I'm just following her lead these days. All right. So what else? And we are also on second week of our course. He's really that into you. He's not ready. That's the title of my ebook, but I've turned it into a course that will run 10 weeks. So we already have 2 classes. The first class by me, and the second class last week by Daisha, one of my new coaches. And she was so good in the class. So please sign up. It's still 10% off for 4 more people, and that's it. After that, there is no more discount. And you will have to pay full price, and it is still cheaper than most coaching programs out there, you know, by who knows what. At least with Katarina, you know that you will always get results one way or another, because I'm the real deal. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you again sometimes, probably whenever I feel like it, but probably next week, probably 2 weeks from now, probably next month. Bye-bye.